Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Play the MOJ in Hearthstone 4 Kaiserreich. If you've been enjoying the series, remember to leave a thumbs up down below because it really does help with the channel. So, we are approaching the time when Egypt will eventually, I think, start to try like influence us at least a little bit. Paraguay's capitulate, that doesn't really matter so much to us at all. We now have 4 factories. We have, I think, 3 civilian, 1 naval dockyard. So, I mean, it's something, you know? Industry is cool. I mean, are we really building? Like, what are we actually building right now? Construction. I don't think I need more civilian factories. I guess we'll at least try to build a single military factory done in November of next year. And maybe we'll start producing guns just on the off chance we ever have the ability to actually train a soldier before we get annexed by some sort of event in the future, which I'm almost guaranteed it's going to happen at this point. But you know, we'll see. We will see. Fingers crossed that maybe we gotta do something. But look at it this way, right? I'm playing this country, so nobody else in the entire world has to. Even though it was probably like not a great idea to begin with. But you know, the people voted 50%. It's for us to play this country first. So you know, here we are. Having the best time of our lives. Is there any wars going on right now? Yes, there's actually a ton of wars going on at the moment. So it looks like Hungary is currently losing all of... But they're probably going to lose the war. I'd be surprised. I don't think I've ever seen Hungary actually win this war. I'm sure if you're like a human player, you can probably get it done, but the AI stands absolutely 0 chance. The Spanish Civil War, Kingdom of Spain looks like they're losing ever so slightly, but I have seen times where it looks like the Kingdom of Spain's going to lose, and they just immediately jump back and have a amazing victory after everything else has happened. Look at the American Civil War. The CSA is actually doing like a horrible job. They're actually almost pushed all the way back to Chicago, which is surprising. I mean, the federal government is doing better than I would expect. And still Washington, they have like this weird little line that's going through here. I wonder if the CSA will capitulate, because I don't think, like, none of this territory is theirs. As long as they lose like Chicago, Detroit, and probably like Cleveland, Pittsburgh. New York City is actually not considered a American or a CSA core. So we'll kind of see Belgium join the Internationale. And what's going on with this rebellion over here? The Quam rebellion. I mean, we've never seen them actually succeed. I mean, we actually don't see them pop up very often at all. So what do we want to do next? I mean, I think you're 1 more civilian factory, right? Yeah, 1 civilian factory, 10% more stability. Yeah. I guess, you know what, let's build 1 more civilian factory. We can maybe get our military factory up a little bit faster. I mean, seeing Ikhwan actually succeed in their war could be interesting, because I don't know if they can join the Cairo conference. Because, I mean, they just rarely ever show up. I mean, I don't think they ever rebel against... Do they actually have a focus trade of their own? No, they don't, which I guess is not a huge surprise. They don't pop up that often. Jamal Shamar, they're studying Ottoman doctrine. I mean, I think no matter what, they'll always join the Cairo Pact. But can Ikhwan do it? That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, who's actually going to win this war? I mean, Jamal Shamar looks like they're actually not in a great spot. But I also have no idea how to judge the performance of Ikhwan at all. And how many troops do you guys have? You currently have 2-6 against 2-6, so it's relatively even there. But the AI probably is like having troops surrounding these areas or like this area, which doesn't actually matter so much. Assuming there's no actual troops here. So I'm just going to assume the AI is not allocating their forces in the best way possible. Let me see. I mean, Jamal Shamar is very, very close to capitulation. I mean, you are not considered a core. Their capital right now is up here. If you actually march into this territory right now, that's the opposite way, because that's not a victory point, but you know what? You do you. I think they're going to take either of these cities. They actually might get the capitulation. Then we can see Ikhwan rise up to fame. Would be interesting. Because again, I don't think I've ever seen this country do anything ever. Like how? What I think is going to happen, I think the American United States... Ikhwan actually won. Ikhwan won their little war. They're now in charge. Okay. Again, I've never seen this happen. I'll see if they can actually even join the Cairo conference. Like, oh, never mind. They've immediately exploded into a civil war. Do they have focuses? No. So they win, and then they immediately explode once again. None of them have focus trees, but that's okay. Who's gonna win? I really don't think it matters so much. And what do we want to research? I mean, it's 1937. Do we have any industry techs that we haven't taken? No, so you know what? Why not get better research speed? I mean, it's almost 1938, so the ahead of time penalty is not so bad. The Pacific Federation has been annexed. Not a huge surprise. I mean, it gives the Party economy probably a... I was gonna say, probably gives them an advantage, but I mean... Many of India didn't actually fight a war yet, so they probably have a decent amount of manpower. Declaration of the Sublime Ottoman Federation. Okay, interesting. You are now... social liberal. What is this? Celebrations were held at Constantine today as the Ottoman Chamber of Deputies officially proclaimed the creation of a new federal state within the lands of the Ottoman Empire. The Sublime Ottoman Federation, whose name was inspired by the imperial grandeur of old, is based on the ideals of the Prince Sabbatin and the foreign influences from German, Austrian, and American models alike. Although the new constitution shifts the collective powers to the level of the provinces, many wonder if this truly means democracy or just a confirmation of the old aristocracy in their age-old positions. So, okay, interesting. So they've gone market liberal, which I'm pretty sure you were not able to do before. They can actually join the Entente. Main of Canada is faction leader and is in a faction of the United States. Egypt does not exist. Iran does not exist. I mean, it looks like it's going to be much easier, but they can still do it if they're at war with Russia. I mean, I guess there is some problems there. I'm kind of curious. I think when we play the Ottoman Empire, we'll probably try to play as the Sublime Federation, just because it seems like a little bit more... I mean, it's different, right, than what was in the mod before. Also, I think their flag's kind of neat. I'm sure the Egyptians and them are still going to want to attack the Ottomans. I'd be surprised if that changed. And what do I even want to research at this point? I guess construction speed? I mean, like, really, what do you go for in this situation? We got one Brazilian factory. We're at 3 out of 5. You'll be done in July. Okay, not so bad. Let's then go for an extra 10% stability, because more stability seems like it'd be nice for us. Yes, you're doing some tax reform. I just want you to do the Third Air Congress, finish this entire tree out, so like maybe we can get something happening around here, or again, we just get annexed immediately. In the Kingdom of Spain, look, they're actually starting to push back, just like I said. They're usually pretty okay at what they do. In the American Union State, I have a strong feeling that they're going to be ending up winning this war. I mean, they're doing really well. And if the federal government has pushed back the CSA this far, I feel like the American Union State is going to do even better in that regard. I mean, they just got to get their way to Chicago, and then that's basically not exactly game over, but it's pretty close to them completely losing. So Mexico's gone totalist. So, I mean, Mexico, I think, can intervene because they're totalist and the CSA is losing, but I don't remember if that requires Canada to intervene first. But, of course, we shall see in the future. Hungary, of course, still losing the war. Bulgaria is losing their war. I'm surprised the Ottomans did not try to take some territory here. Exactly, that's what I would have done if I was playing as the AI right now. And you are currently not at war with anybody. Got some stability modifiers. What's Germany doing? Finishing their black money reforms. And increase increase the Eastern European migration. Anti-Semitic regimes have taken hold over... I'm going to restart that whole thing. My brain just, like, stopped for a second. Anti-Semitic regimes have taken hold over Eastern European nations. I mean, it does say token holds, so you know what. Have taken hold over Eastern European nations, leading an increasing amount of programs and discriminations against their Jewish population. With no place to go and their backs turned against the wall of Russia, many are embarking the long journey south towards Palestine and hopefully find safe haven. I'm willing to further increase tension with the MOJ. Multiple members of the local government have asked the council to close immigration, as further encouraging it only plays into the hands of Arab nationalists. The more manpower, more population, research speed goes up. So we've got Eastern European migrants. So the question is, like, if we shut off immigration, it gives the Arab nationalists more control, I assume. But what exactly does that do for us? So you'll be done in 11 days. Unfortunately, because this is done in January, they're going to do one more reform after this. The next one only looks like it's probably going to be like a 35 days, so I mean, it's not so bad. Yeah, so Bulgaria. As soon as they lose Varna, that should be the end of the war. I mean, I wonder if they're going to get to the point where they actually, like, completely capitulate. I mean, they're still at, what, 38%? But if they lose Varna and, like, all these cities at the exact same time... but they have to take Burgos as well, but I feel like that's unlikely to happen right now. So Hungary is still doing relatively okay. I mean, the thing about this war is that it drains Austria of manpower and equipment, which they do need for the war against the Internationale at some point in the future. And Bulgaria, unsurprisingly, has lost a war. The Ottomans just didn't take any territory, which I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, it's 2 provinces that you could have gotten for free pretty easily. And the Soviets have invaded Alash Orda. Should be a pretty easy war for them. I'd be surprised if there's actually any troubles there. I mean, to be fair, it is the AI, so there's always troubles that you could expect. Yeah, and the Kingdom of Spain is now starting to push their way through these guys as well. And you've been overthrown? You're currently social conservative. Where does that put you? Puts you down this tree. That Bulgaria into the Union. Could you actually... They actually might join Serbia in an alliance? That's strange. I don't think I've ever seen them do that. Okay, so let's follow you up. You still don't do anything. One infrastructure is probably, like, not bad. Oh, do we have Radio Cairo now? We do. It's stability minus 20%, resistance growth in the stake occupied by the enemy plus 50%. Does it not have to, do they not have to do this first? No, it increases operations, so I guess they still have it. But I don't think I want to get rid of it. And the reason I don't want to get rid of it, because I feel like it might impact something in the future that we probably want to maybe do. At least I want to know what happens when they do Radio Free Palestine. The increasing sectarian divide. And the rapid increase of Jewish settlers arriving on the shores of Tel Aviv is only bolstering the Arab aversion to the MOJ, leading to increasing crimes against settlers and protest actions throughout the region. Mediation for the Mutasarrifate has failed to accomplish much, as the Muda of Jerusalem continues to preach for closure of Jewish immigration. So right now, we are at 8% stability, which is not the best, I will admit. So like Egypt is going to be going for absolute monarchy. That seems fine. Again, it really doesn't matter so much what they do. It's interesting though that like we don't have any troops. I still find it very interesting that we don't get, like, we get bonuses of, like, military police research, but yet we were never able to actually... Oh, you just declared war against the Ottomans now! Oh, you... Okay, no, so it looks like Iqwar, I'm assuming they broke up into, like, 4 different factions. You just declared war on the Ottoman Empire right away? I mean, that is going to, I think, dramatically weaken the Cairo Pact for sure. There's no way it doesn't, right? I mean, how many troops do you guys actually have? 1-7 against 36. The Ottomans are sending a lot of troops over here. So what's going to happen then? Like, I'm assuming the Ottomans are going to annex this entire region before the Egyptians can actually do the Cairo Pact. And the Ottomans are only fighting against Iran and Egypt. It would be a cakewalk, I would imagine, because like this whole front line is already nullified. And Yemen is a vassal of theirs. What if I join your war? We've joined a war. We're no longer a demilitarized zone. I don't know what that means for us, but we're no longer demilitarized. We get some more propaganda. No, not right now. Yeah, but we're no longer a demilitarized zone. Because we're at war. So I wonder... Like, I still can't build troops. Armenia's been called into war. Sure, we can have non-aggression pacts with Yemen and them. That seems completely acceptable. Yeah, no, you're dead. You're very, very much dead. I don't know what your plan was. Yes, you're going to do the Third Arab Congress. I'm not too sure when you are able to attack. It's probably right here, Operation Abu al-Awar. Yeah, but Arabia, unsurprisingly, gets their ass kicked. But, like, now that we're a demilitarized zone, what does this... Like, we still can't train troops because we still have this modifier. And I don't know if there's anything we can ever do to get rid of said modifier. Okay, now the Hile's fallen. Probably need to take, Rita. And that should be the end of the war here. I mean, they're close to capitulating already. You know, you can, if you walk towards the victory points AI, the war would be over significantly faster. Nope, that's not the, that's the empty desert right next to the victory point. Well, you want to take the victory point. There you go. Now you figured it out. But it probably means that the Ottomans are probably going to put like a lot of troops in the Suez Canal, I would imagine. Because we are their puppet state. Everybody has military access through us. As soon as you're into that province right now... I mean, theoretically, using the player-led peace conferences, I could annex this entire area myself, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to give it to the Ottomans. Congratulations to you for having succeeded in your war and making the Kaiserreich war substantially easier. Like, it's so much easier now. Why not get some railroads? Get one infrastructure in the future. Oh no, once again, we're now demilitarized. Unfortunately, well, we're no longer at war. I was hoping that we'd stay demilitarized forever, but apparently that's not the way things would be going. And you're really sending all your troops all the way back up north towards, like, I guess this is where you have cores. You don't have cores over anything that that Iran or Egypt has. So I guess that's probably why. Protests have escalated in Jerusalem. Called on by local Arab notables and leaders, a mass protest was held in the city of Jerusalem earlier today to pressure the council into the closure of the immigration office. What started as a peaceful protest quickly escalated after Jihadist forces started cracking down on some of its leaders. In response, the protesters started throwing stones at windows of the foreign businesses and assaulting foreign nationals on the streets of the city. Eventually, the authorities were able to subdue the protests before further violence could spread. While resources spread thin, the action has scarred most of the International Council. The situation might be far more explosive than initially thought. So you've enacted a curfew. We're now at 1% stability. But you know what? 1% stability is better than 0%. They got that going for us. Really? You're going to modernize repairing facilities? Okay, no, that actually is part of your tree here. So I'm assuming they do all of these trees right away. Yemen gets a factory. Tolis in the Bahari commune. I don't think that matters even remotely. So, Ottomans, do you just control this territory, or are you going to actually release it as a separate state? I mean, it looks like you're going to control it just forever. War propaganda, we do not need. We need stability. When consumer good factory goes up, I really don't think that matters remotely for obvious reasons. So, hey, Egypt. I see you have a lot of troops on our border. I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not a fan of that. I prefer if your troops were anywhere else. Right now, we get population plus 70%. That's actually a really big modifier. Is 1.5% of 853,000 really only 13? That doesn't seem right. Also, the left KMT have actually taken a bunch of territory. I think this is the best I've ever seen them perform. Japan announces her ambitions. Not a major surprise there. Hungary, Hungary's going to lose the war. We all knew that was going to happen. But how many casualties have, like 300,000. It's quite a bit. Cuba joined the Reichspakt. The federal government, of course, is going to capitulate quite soon. But the CSA has actually made a pretty big comeback from Chicago. American Union State's actually going to drop the ball a little bit, I would say. So I'm surprised by that. Kingdom of Spain seems like they're still doing okay. You are now part of the Revolutionary Front. You guys have joined the People's Vanguard. The war in Central America is going to be happening quite soon. What's everybody else doing? I mean, Argentina's doing pretty okay. Peru is currently Social Democrats. You're very populist, or very national populist, I should say. Okay, so Council has closed off further Jewish immigration. In response to the increasing calls by the Muslim population and the Jerusalem riots only a few weeks earlier, the Council has officially decreed an end to Jewish immigration and has decreed that no further settlers will be allowed entry into the zone until an accord has been reached with the local leaders. Whilst it is unlikely to stop immigration or immigrants from coming in due to the limited resources of the Council to enforce the decree, this marks an important turning point in the policy of the MOJ. Get more stability. We've closed off immigration. And we're pretty close to finishing off our... I mean, unrest still hasn't actually escalated in our territory, which I'm surprised by, but I'm assuming that's going to happen at some point. Oh, look, it's riots in Jaffa. Not silenced by the reversal of the immigration policy, riots and protests continue to shake Palestine further, encouraged by both Egyptian and Arab movements alike. The breaking point was finally reached in Jaffa earlier today, as yet another action against the authorities turned bloody after overwhelmed Germany opened fire on Arab protesters, leading to the deaths of 23 Arabs. Various governments in the Middle East have already reacted to the events, demanding the immediate departure of the international forces and the abolishment of the MOJ before further violence breaks out. Furthermore, this first display of open conflict between the two groups will likely lead to repression against the Jewish settlers and continued actions against the authorities. But I think with all that unrest, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Anthnwam. If you enjoyed, remember thumbs up. Not enjoying, play thumbs down. You want to see me, subscribe, and goodbye.